According to you, what is a real man, or what should he be?
You should want the best for people, for you, for your family, and for the community. Courage is a good thing. Courage in the face of life's difficulties. You know, one of the things I suggest to the people who are watching my videos, for example, is that a good ambition is to be the most reliable person at your father's funeral.
You think that nowadays men lack virility, that they're not men anymore?
No, I think that you could make a case that they are punished for those virtues and so are less likely to feel confident in their expression or development.
You feel that society nowadays tells men that it's not okay to be ambitious?
I think it's definitely the case that happens. It's certainly not encouraged, it's discouraged because of the confusion between, the purposeful confusion, in my estimation, between power and competence.
You think the hierarchy of the patriarchal system is a good one?
Well, first of all, I'm not convinced that the theory that what we have is a patriarchal hierarchy is correct to begin with. I don't think that way, because I don't understand precisely what that means. Does that mean that women had no role in shaping our society? It's only been the last 10 years that people have made the presumption that it's self-evident that what we live in is a patriarchy. What women haven't contributed? Is this the point we're making? Is that women haven't contributed to our society? They just weren't there until what, 1965? And all of a sudden they took their place. All the women before that weren't doing anything at all. It was all patriarchy.
You don't feel...
Boom, bitch.
That globally men have the better end of the stick?
No. Well, no, I don't believe that globally men have the better end of the stick. Like what? I don't understand why people would even begin to conceptualize the world that way. Better in what way?
Roles of power in businesses, politically, men pretty much rule the world, no?
Well, what about in warfare? What about in dangerous jobs? Who gets killed in war? Who fights in war? Men.
Boom, bitch.
Yeah.
It's opening more and more.
Yeah. Well, no, we're not going to go down that.
Is a woman soldier not as good as a man soldier?
I don't know whether a woman soldier is as good as a man soldier. I know that in most armed forces, women aren't placed in high combat frontline positions.
Who is responsible for this, the demasculization of the society?
Feminist groups have a fair bit to do with it, and the radical left types that insist that what we live in is a patriarchal tyranny.
What is the issue with feminists nowadays?
They think that the idea that our culture is a tyrannical patriarchy is an axiomatic truth. Well, I think that's complete nonsense.
Boom, bitch.
The insistence that sex, gender identity, and gender expression are social constructions, the insistence upon that, the insistence that if there are any differences in outcome, that's a consequence of oppression. That's what's up with them. All of that's complete bloody nonsense.
Boom, bitch.
You have the feeling that feminism has gone too far?
Far too far. But it's the leftist it's not so much feminism, it's really the ideology that characterizes the radical left. Feminism is part of that.
Even though there were still huge inequalities...
What inequalities are we talking about precisely?
Talking about wages, access to positions of power.
The wage gap has nothing to do with prejudice, or virtually nothing to do with it. Single men and women in their 20s. In fact, there's a wage advantage for single women in their 20s. So if there's any gap at all with regards to wages, it's a gap between people and mothers.
Most of the data in all of the countries, come up to that conclusion, that a woman who has the same position as a man...
Women and men who do the same job, the women end up getting paid less?
Yes.
And you control for everything else? No, sorry, the data's wrong. There's at least 16 reasons why men get paid more than women.
Boom, bitch.
Men work longer hours. If you work 10% longer hours, you make 40% more money. Okay, men work in more dangerous positions. So there's a wage advantage for working in more dangerous positions. Men are more likely to move as a consequence of being required to by their job. So men are... there's more.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying that there were many different points that explain why we come up to that final statistic, but that if you look at the reasons why, then it's because men work longer, because they move more than women, and
they work in more dangerous positions. They're more likely to work outside.
I'll take you on that.
They're more likely to work in STEM fields. They're more likely to work in fields where you can scale. If you look and you say, well, on average, women make less money than men, which is also different than saying that they make less for doing the same work, because those aren't the same claims, then you have to say, well, what are the reasons that are contributing to that? You can't just say, well, it's a consequence of gender discrimination, unless you can only think about one thing at a time. And I would say that's another problem with the modern feminists, is they can only think about one thing at a time.
You said in an interview that to stop harassment in the
Boom, bitch.
wearing lipstick.
No, I didn't say that.
My question is, you were talking about sexual harassment in the workplace.
Yeah.
And you said that one of the issues maybe was women wearing lipstick, because why do they do that? It's to create sexual arousal.
It wasn't an issue with regards to enticement to sexual harassment. It was an issue to what are the rules governing male and female behavior in the workplace. And if makeup is a sexual signal, then why should it be acceptable in the workplace? Well, what the hell do you think makeup is for? Why do women wear red lipstick?
Boom, bitch.
Want to feel beautiful?
Look, I mean, the ideas that I'm putting forward here with regards to makeup aren't contentious. This has been studied. We know perfectly well what sexual signaling does, why people wear makeup, why women wear makeup.
When you say these kind of things, a woman may think that, oh, then I might be responsible for what this guy at the office said to me because, yeah, I was wearing makeup. So then I'm the one to be blamed.
That wasn't the point I was making.
No, but do you understand that for a woman watching this and who is a victim of sexual harassment in the workplace,
I don't care about that.
You don't care about what she may feel after she hears you?
No, I don't care. I really don't care particularly what people feel.
Boom, bitch.
Exactly. Governing the behavior of men and women in the workplace. NBC, no hugging. Okay, that's a rule now. Okay, how about no sexual displays in the workplace? None. How about that for a rule? Now, I'm not saying that that's a rule that we should adopt, but I am saying that if we're going to have a culture-wide conversation about the difficulties of men and women working together, then we better bloody well make sure that we get the rules straight. Now, when the Maoists took over China, they had men and women wear the same uniform. No makeup, same.
Boom, bitch.
Of that. I didn't say that if a woman wears makeup, that's any excuse for a man to harass her. I just said that if she's wearing makeup, that's sexual signaling, and that is what it is.
My vision of it is that, in a way, it puts the blame on women and it gives the guys a free pass.
Well, you can interpret it.
Boom, bitch.
And that's also not what I'm implying. And I think that it's appalling that women are treated badly in the workplace by, like, unsophisticated men who have no idea how to govern their impulses.
In a video, you said that the problem with those angry women is that since at the end of the argument you cannot fight physically, you can't really deal with them.
That's not what I said. I said that that's one of the things that keeps conversation between men civil. Women can't argue with angry women. Women are often bullied by angry women.
What I meant was more...
Boom, bitch.
Trying to paraphrase you or, to put words into your mouth.
You are trying that directly.
No, it is things that you said, that you cannot deal with those
yes, but don't tell me that you're not trying to put words into my mouth.
Boom, bitch.
Very carefully, with a tremendous amount of forethought.
Well,
Boom, bitch.
I am quoting things that you said.
Why? What is it that you're trying to establish?
Boom, bitch.
We are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
How are we talking about masculinity?
Because I'm asking you what you think of men and of women.
Basically what you've been...
Boom, bitch.
Put me into a sequence of corners by accusing me of various forms of misbehavior. So why are we doing that? What's the point here?
These are things that you said. My job as a journalist...
Boom, bitch.
Defend.
Your job is also to select the things that you might ask about in some manner that doesn't indicate a substantive bias. You picked 3 things to talk to me about in the last 20 minutes that were very carefully selected. Like, why?
Boom, bitch.
Not necessarily. You could be asking me, for example, why I've spoken to 250,000 people live in the last 8 months. That might be more newsworthy.
Well, we're not going to have a big debate about journalism, but if a journalist doesn't ask the tough...
Boom, bitch.
The tough questions are. Depends on
I didn't think that they would be tough. We're talking about things that you said. I mean, if it's easier to have conversation between men, because there is this underlying threat, you know, of a physical contact.
I don't think it's easier. It tends to be somewhat more civil.
So fighting is the ultimate way of resolving the conflict?
It's a good question.
Boom, bitch.
The ultimate way of resolving a conflict is to negotiate for peace, if you can manage it. But if you can't negotiate for peace, then what are the alternatives?
How do you explain so many men, so many young men follow you, listen to you?
Because they need encouragement. And they need a reason for growing up. And I encourage them and give them a reason to grow up.
What are you?
It's better to grow up than to stay immature.
Are you a father figure?
Sometimes.
A prophet, in a way?
Boom, bitch.
I'm a guru. I don't think that you can be a guru and tell people to take their own way. You know, I'm asking people to develop a vision for their own lives and to adopt the responsibility for that, but it has to be something that's personal.
But do you feel responsibility then?
Yes, absolutely. Fundamentally, this is supposed to be helpful to people.
What if I told you that you're playing on young men's distress to make all that money?
That accusation has been leveled at me before. I don't know how I'm playing on their distress, exploiting it or helping it.
The fact
Look,
is,
I've said right from the beginning that I'm an evil capitalist. I don't make any bones about it. I'm not ashamed of making money. It's very hard to make money.
Can I ask you bluntly how much you make?
Boom, bitch.
On Patreon, my book is selling about 20,000 copies a week. I have royalties that probably amount to something approximating $1.50 on each of those. The tours garner about $35,000 to $50,000 an evening. I have a business that's generating, I don't know, something in the neighborhood of $200,000 a month for me personally. There's some other smaller sources of income than that.
Boom, bitch. Boom, bitch. Boom, bitch.